week 2 of the church just wants your money, and Benji brought this cup home to me yesterday, and I thought that was pretty appropriate after dropping the deuce last week. And she usually doesn't find that stuff amusing, so I was surprised she brought it home. But I find it very amusing. So.
I was just
maybe I'm
was
just
full
not
of
as old
it,
mentally as her. I'm not for sure. But those that have had birthdays this week, just raise your hand. All right, everybody tell them happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And reach in your pocket and hand them $5. I'm just kidding, don't do that. But what I want to talk to start off this morning was talking about the idea of
She said, speak
birthday.
for yourself.
I mean, just do it.
I know you're busy here this morning. This is normal. So don't think it's different than any other Sunday. This is normal. But if I wanted to start off talking about birthdays this morning. And if you've had, say, if you've got a birthday coming up in the next month, let's do this scenario. I've been put in charge of buying your birthday present. Your friends and family have given me an unlimited budget to purchase the items. So I've bought you 3 items. And I think you're going to absolutely love them. I think you're going to be really, really excited. I'm excited. And the first one that I bought is a sports car. You are going to love this sports car. It's awesome. It's state-of-the-art, innovative, best thing on 4 wheels. Now what are you thinking what kind of car I might have got you? Mustang, a Lamborghini, Camaro? No, it's better than all those.
A matchbox.
No? A 1984 Fiero. Not a Ferrari, a Fiero. Now, I think most of us in here, some of us wasn't alive in '84. But if you remember back when this car came out, it was one of the hottest cars out there. I mean, everybody wanted one. I mean, it was on fire, literally. Because later, they started literally catching on fire. It's like you'd go into the restaurant, and you'd come back out, and your car had burned up. So, you know, I guess maybe I didn't do so well on the first one. I got 2 more chances. Second one is I bought you guys some stock in an internet-based company. It's awesome. What are you guys thinking? What do you think the company might be?
Your company.
Apple, Google, Facebook. It's even better than all of those. MySpace. How many in here had a MySpace account? How many of you guys ever go back to there? I was going to say, it's kind of like going to a Denny's. You don't know why you're there, you're just like there. But remember, MySpace was huge. I mean, before Facebook come along, it was great. Now it's like, it's just a joke. But all right, so I'm 0 for 2 here. But I got one more chance to redeem myself. I got you 4 concert tickets. You and 3 friends are going to be in the front row. Afterwards, you got backstage passes, so you can meet this person or this group. Who do you guys think it might be?
Def Leppard.
Def Leppard. U2, I had them on my list. Garth Brooks. Bigger than them. Bigger than them.
Alice Cooper.
Even bigger. Bigger. It is Vanilla Ice to the extreme. Nobody's happy with that one? Ice Ice Baby? He's going to sing all his greatest hits. That's why I said hit. Not hits. It's 4 hours of Ice Ice Baby. So, if I bought you and 3 of your friends those tickets, you would probably be the only ones there, wouldn't you? Right? So I guess I struck out on all 3, but at one time, Fieros, MySpace, and Vanilla Ice were all hugely popular. Really big. And if you say you didn't listen to him, you're lying. Because everybody, I mean, that's all you could hear on the radio. If you don't, does anybody know any lyrics to the song?
Ice Baby.
Because it was on everywhere. I I mean, those things were awesome, But what happens, and the point I'm trying to make, is everything today that the world calls awesome will eventually be junk, where it'll end up at a yard sale for a couple bucks. And all of us are seeking satisfaction. Every one of us in here wants satisfaction. Whether you're a Christian, whether you're non-Christian. And the problem with that is when we seek satisfaction in the things of the world, and if you don't get anything else out of the message today, I want you to get this idea. Satisfaction is the result of seeking Jesus first in everything I do. That's where you'll get true satisfaction, in seeking Jesus first in everything that you do. Because let's be honest, we just laughed really hard as a body of believers, and we laughed at some things that the world used to think was really awesome. So satisfaction in life, and if you want satisfaction in life, if you want it in your marriage, your career, your finances, they're going to come as a result of seeking Jesus first in everything we do. If you were here last week, or if you weren't here, I'll just catch you up real quick. We started out, and today we're going to be in 1 Kings chapter 18. But last week we started out about the story about Israel, how they were in slavery, and we see a lot of that in Exodus. And we see that God moves them and sets them free and puts them in a place far better than they could ever imagine. We talked about how that's kind of our story, if you're a Christian, because we were all enslaved in sin at one point. And He's put us in a place that's far better than we could ever imagine. And He's blessing us. And most of us in this room are blessed more than we could ever realize. But what happened at this place is they turned their back on God. We said that last week, that maybe they didn't actually turn their back on God, but He just wasn't number one anymore. He was probably still in their top 10. And where did we decide last week that God wants to be?
Number one.
First. Number one. Because again, if you're in competition, that's what you want. You want to be first. If you're a football team, you want to be ranked first. If you're playing a game, you want to win. That is the ultimate goal. So God wants to be first in your life. And the reason He wants to be first is He knows that if He is first, the things in your life will fall into place. They're not going to fall apart. But in Israel at that time, He wasn't in the top 10. Or He was in the top 10, but not number one. They were still very religious. It's just that He wasn't number one. So God decided to get their attention, and we went over this last week. He crashed their economy literally. And He told a guy named Elijah, tell King Ahab it won't rain for 3 years. And what's crazy about that is, remember, the entire economy of Israel, we talked about last week, was based on agriculture. And no rain for 3 years, your economy is going to crash because you can't grow food, you can't grow crops, your animals are going to die. So God said that's what He's going to do. So for 3 years, rain. Finally, after 3 years, God tells Elijah, go tell King Ahab, let's fight, let's see who the real God is. So Elijah and Ahab had this conversation. You'll get your 450 prophets and your 400 prophets, and we're going to meet at Mount Carmel, and we're going to see who's God. So that's where we'll pick up the story today. We're going to start in verse 20. So Ahab sent to all the people of Israel and gathered the prophets together at Mount Carmel. Verse 21 says that Elijah came near to all the people and said, how long will you go limping between two different opinions? If the Lord is God, follow Him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the last part of this verse is the most disturbing part. And this is what I want to focus on. And the people did not answer him a word. They didn't say anything. They said nothing when he said that. Because they were indecisive. How many people in here don't like indecisive people? You know? How many guys in here ask their wife where they want to eat? And they say, I don't care. So then you mention someplace, not there. And then you mention, no, not there. Well, you don't care. You know? Does that happen to anybody but me? I see a lot of guys staring. Randy, you're not married yet, you can't raise your hand. 3 more weeks. and
Wait a
you'll be
minute,
all right.
in that, how many people have husbands who doesn't like
Let's
eat
move on,
anything?
I'm the pastor. Indecisive people. That's one good thing about being the pastor. Indecisive people bother me. And it happened to me the other day. That's why it's so fresh in my mind and still frustrates me. I went to Taco Bell. And I don't go there very often, but I was there. And that particular day, it seemed like everybody was there. Everybody must have decided to go to Taco Bell. So we're standing in line, and I'm behind this person. And I already know what I want, you know?
Because it's
And
the
this
same
person,
thing.
we was in line for like 5 minutes. And this person's just staring at the menu.
They don't have cheese.
And already in my mind, I'm thinking, this person doesn't know what they want. That's going to take forever for them to order. Sure enough, they get up there and they're like, well, what's on that? Well, what's on this? Well, what's that? And I'm just sitting there thinking, look at the pictures. There's food pouring everywhere. It tells you right what it is. Can't you just look at the pictures? Honestly, I thought, why can't you just get out of the line, decide what you want, because I know what I want. Hey, can I get an amen on that? People like that, aren't they frustrated? You know, and they're asking all them questions, and I'm just like, I felt like leaving, but I'd already burned up 10 minutes in there. So, but indecisive people, and this is where we see Elijah's bothered too, because he stands in front of the people, and he says, how long are you going to waver between 2 opinions? You followed Baal now for 3 years. You're bankrupt. Your economy has crashed. He doesn't provide for you. And then over here, there's a God that loves you, that will provide for you, will take care of you. How long will you waver between the 2? And the Bible says it like this. I mean, they were all like, well, I don't know. I don't know. They didn't say anything. They wouldn't say whether they was going to pick Baal or they were going to pick God. And I know there's people in the room this morning that want to follow Jesus, but you're a lot like the people in the story. You're indecisive. And you're like, well, I don't know. But I got this morning a list of 5 reasons that I think we're indecisive. Number 1, lack of trust. Have you ever been a shady person? I mean, like a really shady person?
Yeah.
Then, I think the year after I graduated, I went to New York. Just by myself for a week. I went to Yankee games. But the one day I'm walking down the street and it's raining. And I didn't have an umbrella. And I walked by, this guy's kind of sat back in the doorway and he goes, hey. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, you need an umbrella? And I'm like, yeah. So I go up to him and I'm like, how much? And it was only $1. So I handed him, this was like 86. So I handed him $1 and I walked away with the umbrella. But I felt like I'd just done a drug deal. Because it's, you know, he was, like I said, he's way back in the doorway. Hey, you want an umbrella? And I'm like, you know, it just felt dirty, you know. And we have a lack of trust. You know, I know a lot of people say they don't give because they've seen different organizations that are charities do stuff with the money they shouldn't have done. Or CEOs have walked out. I mean, when we redid our missions with Randy, he did a lot of digging in, found out what the CEOs of certain companies make of these charities, and it's ridiculous. Some of these that are religious charities, the guy's bringing home $400 grand a year. And it's like, so, and we've all seen that. And that's why here every month, and I don't have the board meeting minutes on there, but every month you'll see our financials in the back. And everything we've brought in, everything we've spent, it's got all our balances on, it's right there on the bulletin board. And usually the board meeting minutes are there. That's why we go through an audit every single year. Because we want to let you know that you can trust the church with your money. If you've noticed every week when I pray over the offering, I ask God to allow us to be good stewards over that money. Not one person decides where the money goes. It's a board decision. You know? We voted, just to let you know, the other night on Monday, we did vote to negotiate a price for an acre of ground over here next to us. Now, we didn't vote to buy it, but we are going into a negotiation and find out how much it's going to cost to buy it, so we can expand. But here at Mount Tabor, we try to be very transparent with the funds. And like I said, it's right back there. That's the one that we just got on Monday night. I'm sure anytime you have a question, you can ask for her, and she'll answer it to the best of her ability. If she can't answer it then, she will let you know. So, number one, lack of trust. Number two is drive-by guilty. Have you ever seen a drive-by? I've never seen one, thank God, but you guys all know what a drive-by is, right? Well, drive-by guilty is a little bit different. And it's maybe even happened here at Mount Tabor to you. What it is, and if it has, I feel bad about it, but a drive-by guilty is when you show up to church and a sermon is preached or a subject's talked about, and you're told you're horrible if you don't go do this. So you leave and you go do it, but the motivation of your heart isn't out of love, it's out of guilt. And all of us knows how guilt works, right? Husbands in here, how do you feel about doing yard work that your wife's guilted you into doing? You're out there complaining and talking under your breath, and you can talk a little louder because the mower's louder. But you're not real happy, are you? When they guilt you into doing something. You know? You're not out there having affectionate thoughts about it all the time. And guilt is a great motivator. It's not a great motivator. When I'm up here and I'm teaching on money today, I don't want you to start giving because you feel guilty. It's an issue of the heart. Because here's what I know. If you start giving out of guilt, you'll give for 2 or 3 weeks, and then you'll stop again. Because the motivation is guilt and not love. Third reason is fear. Money and fear go hand in hand, don't they? And I just thought of this morning. I've got 4 bottles of water here. Alright? And this is a good example of fear, I think. Somebody says, man, I could use a bottle of water. Well, I've got 4. Should I be able to spare one? But what do we think? Automatically our mind's like, I'm going to drink 1 today, probably 2 tomorrow, and then 1 on Tuesday. So I'm sorry, I don't have any water to give you. Because we fear that we're going to run out. So we won't give because we've got to keep back enough for us. And what that is I want you guys to give out of obedience, not abundance. Because I'm that same way. I'm exactly that same way. I think, a lot of times, I think of myself and Mindy first. You know? And it's like, we should do this. Well, what if we can't do that next week? Well, but give out of obedience, not abundance. Because fear is a legitimate reason. Because people go, what if I can't trust God with my money? Well, I want you to understand this morning, if you trust God with the verses in the Bible about going to heaven, you're going to have to trust Him with the verses about money. If you trust Him with your soul, you got to trust Him with your wallet. Number 4 is debt. There are people, I'm sure, that are massively in debt today. And I'm talking about up to your eyeballs in debt. For years and years, you've thought transferring credit card balances was the way to go. Or you went to payday loan companies. I did some research on them. Do you guys realize the interest that those payday loan places charge? It's like 400% sometimes. I don't realize, I guess I can't fathom once you get one how you can ever pay that back. Yeah, that's the point. Because if you ever noticed in some of their commercials, in some states, they aren't allowed to operate because they aren't allowed to charge that high of an interest rate. But it's a cycle that people get into. It is. You know, maybe you've bought a car that you're paying for more than the car's worth, or you're upside down in your mortgage, But here's what I know about people in debt. And some people get there through serious circumstances. Maybe they've lost their job, or medical expenses, or you've had to start taking care of an aging parent, or just, life happens. But you found yourself in debt. But a lot of people out there find themselves in debt because they finance a lifestyle they can't afford. They got to keep up with everybody else. Oh, my neighbor got a new car, I got to get a new car. Oh, my neighbor got a boat, I got to get a boat. Oh, my third cousin down the line just built a 20,000 square foot house. I need to build a bigger house. Even though I don't have any kids at home anymore, I need a bigger house. But what I want you to know this morning is if you're in debt like that, you're not in God's will. And I know you're thinking, man, that's pretty heavy. Well, when God gave that to me, that's the first thing I thought about too. And when I say in debt, I'm not talking about your home. That's an investment. I'm not talking about so much your car. Unless, again, you went out and bought a car you couldn't afford, because you have to have a car to get the job, to get to work, and do things in life. But when I'm talking mainly about credit card debt and the payday loan debt and that's just, it might have just got personal, but I'm telling you this morning, if you're in debt in that way, you're not in God's will. And the Bible says in Proverbs 22:7, the rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is the slave of the lender. And as followers of Christ, we've been called to be His servants. And we can't truly be His servant if we're serving MasterCard, Visa, and American Express. Right? But here's the good news. You caught that?
Yeah.
I didn't know if anybody catch that or not. But here's the good news, and I let Ben in on this because he's our website guy. I put a lot on there, but when I have questions, I run to him, and he usually can get me through it. Hopefully within a couple weeks after the end of this series, we are going to have some resources for you on our website. We're going to show you how to do a budget. JL, the guy that came here and took pictures for us, he has a couple guys that give economic classes all the time and tell you how to budget your money. And we're in the process of trying to get one of his buddies to make us a video to talk to us about that. And those resources are all going to be on our website for free, because we want to help you get out of debt. And it doesn't matter whether you give a dime to this church or not, they're going to be on there for free. I'm going to put as much stuff on there to help you economically as I possibly can. Down the road, we're probably going to do a small group study on just money. So we want to help you here. And the last one, but not least, is unawareness. And some people say this, well, Rodney, here's the deal. I'll start giving when I get more. You ever hear that? How many people in here, as your income increases, it doesn't ever seem like you get ahead? Because your spending increases, doesn't it? You make more, you spend more, don't you? Mm-hmm. And so that idea goes out the window. Because Jesus talked about that in Luke 16. He said, if you're not giving with what we've got, if we're not giving with what we've got now, if we're not being obedient and responsible now, then why would He give us more? That's like a teenager saying, well, you bought me a junk first car, I don't drive it well, I never make it home on curfew, I'm always wrecking it, but if you bought me a BMW, I'd drive better. No parent in here is going to say that, are they? No parent's going to do that. We think that with all the giving passages and all the giving verses, that they don't really apply to us, because the Bible talks a lot about rich people. In fact, Paul said this in 1 Timothy. He said, teach those who are rich in this world. And I know some of you guys are probably thinking, yeah, he's going to give it to the rich people right now. It says, teach those who are rich in this world not to be proud and not to put their trust in money, which is so unreliable. Their trust should be in God. who richly gives us all we need for our enjoyment. So it's not wrong to enjoy things. And it goes on to say, tell them to use their money to do good. They should be rich in good works and generous to those in need, always being ready to share with others. By doing this, they will be storing up their treasure as a good foundation for the future so that they may experience true life. And again, some of you might be thinking, oh my gosh, this is awesome. He's about to go off with the rich people. And I am a little bit. But do you know that a lot of people in this room have what I call rich people problems? I'm going to put them up here on the screen because I thought it'd be fun, and we'll talk about these rich people problems here for a minute. Starbucks messed up my venti, ice, skinny, hazelnut, macchiato, sugar-free syrup, extra shot, iced ice, no whipped drink.
Macchiato.
Okay. I can tell I don't drink coffee. And that's funny that he says that. That's a rich person's problem. That's a legitimate, no, not that. That's a legitimate problem for some of us. But can we all agree that that's a rich person problem?
Yeah.
And some of you are laughing because you're thinking that's your drink and they just messed it up. Right? Rich person problem. Next one. The internet on my cell phone is slow. That's a rich person problem, eh?
That's the problem.
That's a me problem.
If you complain about how slow your service on your cell phone is, that's a rich person problem. Next one, huge. My Mongoose poop coffee tastes weird. If you wasn't here last week, get on our website and listen to last week's sermon and you'll understand that one much more. So, next one. Pay at the pump is not working. That's a rich person problem. If that's your biggest problem in life, that the pay at the pump isn't working, you've got an issue. Here's another one. This one's going to get a little personal. I don't know what shoes to wear with this outfit.
That's the problem.
Husbands, don't point, don't elbow. I'm just saying, this is a rich person problem. Couple more, because it's getting pretty tense in here, but we'll get this. The food in the fridge went bad and I had to throw it all away. There are people all over the world, in all kinds of countries, where this is a foreign concept.
Even this country.
Yeah, you're true, even this country. And the last one, I think this is a big deal. They put a pickle on my chicken sandwich and I want to do it.
That's a problem.
And I'm going to tell you, guilty as charged. Because if they put anything like that on mine, I'm throwing a fit. I'm not eating it, and I know what, this is me. You don't know, it's the pickle juice and da-da-da.
Yeah, it don't even have to be on the sandwich. On the plate, he's still not eating it.
So,
Making a new one.
and you know, there's people all over the world that would kill for that sandwich. Not for a meal, but they'd probably make it 2 or 3 days worth of food. That's a rich person problem. And all I'm trying to say this morning is all of us are blessed. And the issue